All right. Welcome back to another episode on the Coin King channel. I'm your host, Down the Crypto TA. Once again, the name of this channel will be changing since I am the active body on the Coin Kings channel. We will be changing the name to update it to reflect what my intentions are here for the channel. All right, I'm here today to talk about some stocks. Some stocks. This morning we talked about Bitcoin. We covered a little bit in the stock market. Celsius. How about that? How about Celsius? I told you I took a call strike on Celsius, and it paid me out today. I was only looking to get back into here, so as soon as I saw that price pop right here, I was out. So I'm out of that Celsius call position. I do still maintain my long buy on Celsius. Okay, I do maintain my long buy. Celsius is one that I've talked about on the Coin King channel quite a few times in terms of it being a good one to buy. Can it go lower? Always and forever. That will happen. Okay. So yes, it can go lower, but we did see a nice little pop up right here today. Had a couple of filings drop yesterday for Celsius. Du-du-du-du-du. Which just basically reporting on some purchases, because there were a few purchases being made here from insiders on Celsius, and those files ended up dropping yesterday. Which Tuesdays never really a great, well, just depending, if this Tuesday was our Monday, the first day coming back after a holiday or after the weekend is never going to be the ideal time, but this panned out right here. Also had some big buying down here as well as we were coming down here into this low right about in here, right about in here. All right, for Celsius. So looking pretty good in here. Want to see this thing continue to the upside. You see our little pattern formation in here that we did get the break. We gapped up above this. So if it is truly a breakaway gap, then we shouldn't be coming back into it. Initially, I thought we might have a little bit of struggle in here. So I put struggle in here for it. And of course, what I'm looking for us to at least be able to do is going to be that 35.22 right now in the immediate, at least until I start to get some more information or, something changes here in the chart. It doesn't look like a whole lot right now. You zoom out, it's not a lot. It's really not a lot, but you can see how we were holding up down here with a little inside bar right here on the drop, the nice bottom and tail and all of that good stuff right here. So Celsius looking absolutely lovely. Today was a little bit of a headache. Earlier, the end of last week coming into the start of this week was a little bit of a headache, but we're looking pretty decent in here, I have to say. Celsius looking pretty decent for that continuation to the upside. All right, do got some earnings today. I mentioned it on the stream earlier as well, but I'm not gonna cover all of them, but we will take a look at the chart. I told you about CRM earlier today. CRM is I say CRM is a buy. I know the earnings you're gonna do it after hours. So what's being said is gonna be crucial. Um, but here we are with this one. I gave it a green star. I do think that this one might actually gap up. If I'm wrong, I tell you what, buy the dip. It's not financial advice, but I would buy the dip on this one right here. This looks pretty stellar in my opinion as well for CRM. One of the things I like about CRM right now, again, it's going to be all of the Form 4s that have been filed on CRM. Quite a lot, can I tell you? Quite a lot, along with a scheduled 13. Along with a scheduled 13, quite a lot as Salesforce has been down here in these lows. Now, before this, I was telling you that software companies, they're looking like they're pretty. You want to buy. You want to buy. Remember, everything is going to be a risk, so you never know. Anything can happen. Anything can go wrong. Um, So it's just the risk that you have to take on these stocks. But I am looking for CRM to get a break to the upside in here and take a look at a couple of these right here. So I'm just going to share over here real quick. I'm not really going to go through any of these right here. I've already gone through to see what we're talking about in here, but you can see quite a few of the Form 4s being filed in here for Salesforce in here. I've gone through each and every last one of them, and these were buys. These were all buys, all buys, all buys. You can see that the filing date was for the 26th, which was just yesterday, but you can see when the purchases were made in here right through here. And like I said, you do have a schedule 13, which was a little bit later, but you can tell from the chart exactly. So at this point right here, there is some interest coming in, a lot more interest coming in here for Salesforce as they are preparing to report earnings today. A lot more interest is coming through here. So hopefully we'll see a gap up above here, see a breakaway gap, and we can keep it going. But I give this one a green star for Salesforce. All right, MRVL. Marvell is also reporting today. This one is on a rampage. Absolutely on a rampage in here. Um, I gave Marvell I gave it a red. You don't see it in here. I'm not feeling Marvell right now. Marvell gets the red. All right. I'm not feeling Marvell right now. I was telling you that this morning. I'm not really feeling Marvell. Can it continue to do what it's doing? Absolutely, it can continue to go onwards and upwards. Not a lot of findings in here to really report on it, but I'm not feeling Marvell at all. Um, Jeez, at least do some technical analysis on MRVL, right? At least do some technical analysis in here on MRVL because I have done none, son. But this morning, not this morning, actually yesterday when I looked at the chart, I was like, send it to zero. Nah, don't send it to zero. But yeah, I'm not feeling this one right here. I'm not feeling Marvell. Oh, so many of them are just absolutely ripping to the upside. Um, I think this one right here can come back in though. I really, really do. Think that this one right here can get a nice little pull back in here. And with that, let's just actually, because I'm not gonna I was just looking at this little wick right through here. And then just looking at this down here. But let's go for this right here on Marvell. We want to at least see it get a back test into this trend line right here. And from there, we'll reassess everything. But Marvell, in my opinion, I give it a big fat, again, a big fat hells to the no. I would not be buying in on this one right now. It does have a little bit of selling pressure in here as well. That's where you're seeing the little wicks and stuff come in from a few filings here, but nothing too major. I just, I think that it's basically done what it's going to do in here before it gets a little bit of a pullback and then a continuation to the upside. Let's take a look at this here. You can see how far removed Marvell is from any of its moving averages. And right now, I'm not using the EMAs at the moment, but nonetheless, Marvell is still far removed in here. From these moving averages, which means it's probably still trading outside of a standard deviation too. So it is overvalued, right? Well, I don't call it overvalued, but it's quite extended. It's quite extended at the moment. Okay, so be a little careful with that extension. Let's see what date was this right here. Let me see. Let me check my dates. Check my dates. Let's see. put on the 24 hour because I like to be on the 24 hour in here. And yeah, you're going to see some of this start to reflect. You really are going to start to see some of this reflect in here. We have this. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Because there's some people who have filed some intents to sell and they're still offloading. Okay, they're still offloading into you if you're up here buying. Look at that nice little outside bar right there. So yeah, I will let this one cool off a little bit. Just let it cool off a little bit. We can look somewhere for a mean. It actually hasn't come all the way back into the mean, but if we could get that, let's just go with that 186 to 170 right in here. So this top right across here to, as I was saying before, looking at the wicks in here or that trend line that disappeared on me. Where are you at? Where are you at? I want to make this visible. We'll make it visible across all. So right in here. Yep, that's exactly the sweet spot that I'm looking at right there. So at least let's just start here and see if we don't hold this, if we're going to swing fail back down below this trend line right here. But still some offloading here on Marvell. Don't know what the earnings is going to look like. It could be an absolutely phenomenal earnings report, but I'm a little cautious with this one right here. Snowflake. Another one. Another one. Another one looking to report today. Now I told you I bought some snowflake down here in the dungeons. I picked up some snowflake. Okay. I like what I'm seeing. I like what I see them, but I'm more than certain. Aside from my levels that I have in here, there is some overhead resistance. You can see over here the kind of nastiness that we got going on over here, like somewhere around the mean, somewhere slightly above, trying to do something, not really getting anywhere. Quick. I actually gave my snow a red star. I gave it a red star. I didn't want to because I'm in it and I'm in it to win it. Okay. But I'm not selling. If anything, I just be able to accumulate some more. But I'm hopefully this right here will. I'm hopeful that this will continue to move onwards and upwards right now. Again, hitting one of the levels in here at 180. I thought it was an absolutely amazing buy down there at the low. So whatever's happening through here, I'm still a believer. I'm still a believer. But I can see some writing on the wall in here. But no, you know what I realized? I'm not even playing any of my music right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Frank is selling. Frank is selling a lot. A lot of snow. Frank just keeps selling. Every time you turn around, Frank got a report in here. Frank is selling. All right, Frank. Do you, Frank? What else? We got Costco and Dale tomorrow. But for now, let's just stick to what it is. I don't want to talk about everything at once and be done with it. So again, I'm absolutely feeling Salesforce. I'm feeling Salesforce right now. I'm feeling Salesforce right now. I closed out and made some banks on my Celsius call. Made some bank on my Celsius call. So absolutely beautiful, beautiful pump on Celsius. One that you really should be careful with. And let me show you what it's going to be looking like in here. So I'm gonna share this over here. This is my presentation. Here. So this is what the name of the stream is, changing to Goat Media, which represents greatest of all traders. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about you, good people. You're great. You're great. Not myself, but it's Goat Media. Covering U.S. markets, covering crypto, mainly Bitcoin more than anything. I will not lie. Talking strategy, talking options, talking technical analysis, talking research. Okay. Okay. So while I did not put everything in here on this presentation, I just basically was looking at your 200 billion cap and 200 billion market cap and above in here, and some ones that are really deviated far from their 50-day EMA. So you got your Micron, you got your AMD, you got Intel, you got ARM, you got Qualcomm, you got SanDisk, and you got Palo Alto. Palo Alto. I hope I saved you some trouble yesterday when I did my post. Sometimes it doesn't get a lot of views. Sometimes it does. I don't guess a lot of people are interested in Palo. You can't be. Because if you were, you would have seen me say, hey, watch out. You hitting some resistance right now. You're hitting some resistance right now. But not only were you hitting some resistance, you had some recent sale filings as well. And that's good to know. That's good to know. So while I didn't share any charts when I did my post yesterday, I just gave you a little bit of a heads up. You can read, and so can I. Okay, so PANW is currently trading as a major resistance at the top side, which is what I was just trying to let you know on that. Has consistently seen failed breaks from that area, either some immediate rejection or a swing up and a swing back down. So a swing failure was likely to happen. The 24-hour time frame was also showing that Palo had some bearish divergence. So even though price was moving higher, you could see that there was some weakness in that move to the upside. And that all comes together with some of the filings as well that was stated. And if I can get a pullback somewhere about 239 to about 220, I think it's a buy. Why is it a buy? Because it's so far removed from its 50-day EMA. Now, the amount of correcting we do is very important. And so for me, yeah, those regions right there, those are going to hit for me to even make a consideration of jumping into a long position here on Palo. I also want to watch how the QQQs are performing as well. As I got in here, the structure remains bullish. It's just a buying opportunity. So thank you to the person or persons that are selling, because there's a new intent to sell that has not, I wouldn't really call it new, but they have enough time. They could have already been selling already, because you don't actually get it the day of. A lot of times when they do these filings, probably by the day, the same day, if not 2 days later, something like that. That's what you can expect from it. But here are the recent filings right here. So you had a Form 144, notice for proposed sale of restricted securities by company insider. I know exactly who that is. I did not put his name in here. I did not put his name in here, but I probably got it over there on the chart, which we will go over and take a look at. That was done on the 22nd, the Form 4, which prior, like I said, I think that Josh may have started selling back here on the 20th, back in here, which was a Friday, though. I love when this takes place on a Friday, because then you come back to market open and voila, it's the kiss, baby. It is the kiss of success in here. So he ended up doing his Form 4, just disclosing that he, the sale, of his shares. He did not sell as much. Let me put that to you like that. I think Josh in his actual, and I have it down below, but we'll take a look at that. He had it, I think he was looking to offload 2400, so he's still in the process. He doesn't have to file a new 144, but he does have to disclose on a Form 4, which we won't know. But we're looking at the chart, and we realize that we're at some resistance. Okay, so we'll see if we get to my levels for that buy entry. If we bounce up and then we see some sort of a fail, lower high or something like that, then we'll know what's happening right in there. Okay, and then of course your Vanguard, capital Y, because it's a lot of demand. Usually around the time where you see a schedule 13G, it's a lot of demand coming in. So that's that. But that was back in April 30th. Okay, so this is the 144 right here. The 144 that Josh filed right here. Joshua filed right here. And you can see right here the number of shares to be sold indicates 2400, but he did not offload 2400 at the time. You can see what the aggregate market value is in here as well for, ooh, can I be on your team? Please let me be on your team. All right, and you holding it like that. I would love to be on your team, but he sold a couple of other times through here as well. And this is the Form 4 right here. So you can see right here, even though he indicated that 24 2,400 shares to be sold. When he filed this form for right here, only 400 shares were sold at the time. So we can stay on the lookout for another 2,000 unless he unless he amends or submits a new 144. Okay, so that's Josh right there. And then right here, this is the other intent to sell right here. This one right here is dun 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 dun. Um, hold on, cause I can't see right now. I tell you what. I tell you what. Let me make my life easier. It's hard for me to read sometimes. Like, honey, you did that, and you can't read. You can't read. Not right now. No, I can't. Okay, Lee Claridge. Claridge Lee. That's who 144 this is right here. All right, and so we have the number of shares to be sold at 62,904. 62,904 shares to be sold. Doesn't mean that much is going to drop on the market at one time. Ain't nobody pulling no rug off from up under their feet like that. Not like that. Not like that. But it's here. It's here. It's here. It's here. It's here. Just so you can see. Just so you can see. It's here. So we'll see. We'll see if our long is going to be worth our long. I think we'll be okay right there. I think we'll be okay. And this is just the schedule 13 right here. This is Vanguard schedule 13. That's nothing that you really, really, really need to see right there with that. Okay. Nothing. All right. And then we got Micron Technology, MU. But before I jump into that, let's jump back over here into this chart and we're going to take a look at PANW. Palo. Voila. Voila. Right here, baby. Right here. Actually, let me not do that. Let me just do that right there. Just do that right there. So I was sharing with you earlier. Let me put it on 24-hour because that's what I like. All right. So here on this 24-hour time frame here, you're going to see this ascending trend line through here. Now, I've made your life easy by using circles. People like to make fun of people who put circles on their chart, but that's okay. I put circles on my chart. I put X's and O's on my chart too. I put stars on my chart. I put lines on my chart, dashes on my chart. I put dollar signs and bulls and bears and all kinds of stuff on my chart. But anyway, you see this trend line down through here, right through here. Okay, so you see how we Paulo consistently rejects from this trend line right here. And like I said, you might get a swing up and then see some sort of swing failure pattern take place. So I did add a little dash line in here because sometimes shenanigans happen. And I could be wrong. I can be wrong. We can all be wrong. We can all be right too. But there you go there, and then down through here, while not exactly touching the trend line through here, you get the point. You get the point down through here, and we can keep it going all the way down here to this starting point right here. So this trend line right here is from 2020. 2020. I'm gonna need them to stop being so obvious. And that trend line there is from 2020. And so it's been a nice rejection point right there. And like I said, I added another one in here. And if I wasn't using that one, then let's just zoom back out and you can see just at that top, you can see how we were starting to wedge in here just a little bit in here. So it's simple. One tap, two tap, ooh, three tap. How about that? One tap, two tap, three taps. And you're out. And you're out. I put a couple of notes in here. Okay, so you got your 4 on 144 right here. There's my name right there. There's my name right there. Intent to sell right there. May already be in this flow coming to the downside. You never know. We'll find out in a couple of days. Where is my note? I'm hovering over it. Oh, okay. No, okay. There we go. There we go. That's the one we discussed this one right here. Discuss this one right here. Still selling. I'm almost certain of it. I'm almost certain of it. Um, this is our trend line that we got our breakdown from right here. It'd be nice if we did a little head and shoulders right here, wouldn't it? A little head and shoulders right here. Send it on down here to about 220. I would like that. But when I look at it historically, honestly, like this right here has been about as much as it's been given in this rally to the upside. So the two, we'll just call it 240, that's about as much as it's been giving to the downside. So if we do see us break this, then yeah, this becomes more probable right here. But this and I'm looking at something else when I'm doing this as well. I'm not gonna go through and pull up the indicators and all of that good stuff for it. But that would be fair game, especially if we're staying. Eh, anyway, won't finish that sentence. I won't finish that sentence. This is your acquisition right here. That's your schedule 13 right here. Like I said, I think I got a couple of notes in here, but anyway, this is where we're at right now. This is what we're seeing with Palo Alto, and we'll see how much more dumping they're gonna give it in here. Again, 230. I like the sound of 230. Um, but that can all change. That can all change. When I say bearish divergence. So you can see right here between these two peaks right here, you can see your bearish divvies right here. Bearish divvies coming into that pushback down below your 80 RSI reading right here. Right here. So, and you can see this top over here. This is what I'm looking at, and when it comes to that 220 in here. But like I said, first of all, I'm going to be checking out this 240. Maybe we even do a little liquidity sweep right here, down below this level right here. But somewhere in here, I'm going to have to see that reaction take place. So it's not a big move. It's not a big move to the downside. I clearly understand that it's not a big move to the downside. And usually you probably won't get the big move. Now on the first move down, you probably won't see it unless they just absolutely just floor the market with sale orders. We would see price make another attempt to get as high as it get the momentum as aggressive as it did on that push up right there, and you don't get it. Why? Because it's probably just going to be a wave 4 out of from this right here. Probably just put in a wave 4 right here and then continue to the upside. So I am looking to get long on this thing right here. That's all I'm trying to say. That's it for that one. Palo Alto, which will be reporting next week. They will be reporting next week. Okay. It's a good time for a little bit of profit taking. It's good. It's good that you see some profit taking in here. That's good. That's good. It's no place like prices being up here and doing some profit taking. Maybe they can teach Michael Saylor a thing or two about when to buy and when to sell. Because, honey, that would be nice. Oof. Jeez. That guy. I like him. I'm just being not funny right now. Oh, where were we? Here. MU, Micron, which is just crazy as crap. I would not get in the way of this. Like, who in their right mind is getting in the way of this right here? This is still expanding, like seriously expanding. You look at your weekly time frame, you look at your monthly time frame. It's just straight up in the air, just poof, poof. This one here, I think I did mention it earlier this morning. That's probably an extended wave. We're probably in an extended wave 3 to the upside. if I'm looking at it. I went back and I reviewed like the last two corrections that you could see. Like the second one, you really can't see on the higher time frame. The first one you can see on the higher time frame, which is very clear. We pulled back into the 382 after putting in a higher low. Wave three looked like it extended up to around about a three extension three, something like that. And then we pulled back into a 382, which is shallow retracement, which is normal for a wave four. And then we pushed up again. We repeated the cycle. We got another little small correction down. That second correction didn't even quite tap into a 382 like that. This is how crazy people are on this right now. And then you look at your RSI, which is a great indication because your momentum tends to get extremely high, extremely high. You get to these very elevated readings, and then you start to see some divergence come in again. So look, I'm not gonna take a long on this one, but I will let you know when um when it's gonna be a great time on this one. Um, as far as the dip buying goes, even if it's yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think that it's doing way too much. It's doing way too much. But in that case, finding a place to get in on this thing is gonna be the best thing. And I don't buy anything unless it pulls back. So you'll never hear me come on here and say buy the top. It can never be the top. Probably not even have a top. But as long as it's not pulling back, I have zero interest in this one right here. So like I said, it remains expanded. Like you're outside of a standard two, and again, the waves are turning out, which means momentum is still aggressively pushing there. Probably on the lower time frame. I think I was looking at it on like a 24-hour. I think that was starting to slow down a little bit. I do believe that 24 was starting to slow down a little bit, but I will go through and take a look at that in just a second so you can see in here where I'm talking about the scenario here, probably extending on that wave, and we'll see if that wave four correction is about to enter. Especially again, like I said, I think it was a 24-hour because that's what I've basically been using a lot of. As far as their recent filings is concerned, you can see just May 14th. And I may have it on the chart, so we're going to take a look at that. You can see Capital World Investors did a schedule 13 on this one right here, and not a lot to really look at in here on MU. Not a lot of filings in here. Not a lot in the news on MU either. Except for the fact that it's doing crazy stuff. Hold on. Let's see here. Just trying to read something real quick. No, sir. No, sir. So that's the Coin King calling. He's like, "You're streaming." I'm pretty sure that's what he's saying in his mind, but well, that's what he's calling to ask me. You're streaming? Yes, I am, bud. And you're calling, and the phone is ringing in the background. I'm just trying to see what that was right there. Down. Um. I can rest assured, the way that please, the way that I better text him so he'll stop ringing my phone. On stream, what's up? All right. Best believe that you're being sold into with this rally on MU. Like, there's no way you can't think that you're not being sold into. Okay. All right, because you are being sold into. So I really don't need to get into these right here because yeah, I really don't need to get into this, but you rest assured you are being sold into. And it makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense that you are. It makes sense that you are being sold into. But let's take a look at that chart right now. MU. Oh, what do we got there? What do we got here? Put this on 24 so I can take a look at it. Yeah, we was talking about that this morning. We was about to tap into that 1.618 on the new extension that was dropped in here for why I had to do a new extension because it keeps extending. It keeps extending. So if you were here this morning, then you caught an opportunity to short that 1.618. Um, but you can see the second pullback right here, which is again, like I stated, this second pullback right here, it barely taps. It doesn't even tap, like it doesn't even come back into this 382 period. So that one, very strong continuation move there to the upside there. Again, down here, you can see where it does tap into the 382, exactly into the 382, along with the ascending trend line right here from the lows down here of when just a year old. So not no big old bear. It's just a year old right there. And then we got this through here, 1.618 tap. So we'll see if we do start to dance around in here, even if we break this trend line right here, even if we were to break it, which I honestly just don't see it happening. I was looking at this right here, like this right here would be the equivalent of as much of the moves that it's been making, which is going to be this right here, which is simply where this gap is located at here. And this gap, let me find where I got this gap from because it ain't it ain't gapping right now. Hold on, it don't even look right now. Hold on. I got it from somewhere. I got it from somewhere. Where did we come from, Gap? Where oh there we go. I'm like, where did we come from? We came from somewhere, and you're trying to make me feel, look crazy. Here we are. Here we are, right here, today, the 2 day time frame, right here, the 2 day time frame, right here. That's why I found this booger at right here. So seeing that reaction as we did get that push up down to that 1.618 fib extension right there. And like I said, we would start to consolidate. I would definitely look for this target right here to be, which is, basically just coming back into those prior highs right there. If we're lucky enough, then we would see something back here into this trend line. But right now, this is about as much as it's really been given. But trust me when I say you are being sold into. But if we're maintaining, and this is just going to be another corrective way forward, and we will see another push up higher, and then from there I will draw out my final extension, and then I will let you know what that's going to be. But right now I'm just going to let this thing do what it does. If we're not coming below this low right here, let me just add this Fibonacci retracement in here. So that's going to be into a golden pocket right here. Now, like I said, it had not been doing more than a 382 retracement. That would be pretty bullish, which that would be just back into the top side of the gap right here for the 50% retracement right there would be just back into the top side of the gap right here. Here's your 382 coming into play there. And then here again, it's going to be your 50% retracement, which is bullish. Now you can also do something like that as well on the let me see. Am I coming from here? No. I mean, yeah. We're gonna have to keep it like that because if we're not, then it's changing market structure, which is fine, especially if you're in a wave four. That would be absolutely fine if it does start to break down below here. But right now, I'll be looking for something right in here. I'm mainly looking at this. I think that this is very doable right here. At least the top side of this gap is very doable right here for Micron. But watch out for that 382 50% retracement here on MU. This is just not something to touch, to be honest with you. Not right now. A good pullback, then I would be like, heck yeah, heck yeah. But every chance these mofo's get on this move up, while everybody is bullish, they selling into you. Trust me. Trust me. This is not financial advice. This is not this is not financial advice. This is not financial advice. Um yeah. That would be a mean reversion back here into this gap also. Would just be a mean reversion here on your 4-hour time frame. Da, 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 da. What we got here? Got anything in here? I have nothing in here. Obviously, I did not like this chart enough to be like, let me put some notes in here. I got no notes in here. How do I have no notes? I have no notes. No notes. I'm supposed to have some notes over here off to the sideline, but apparently I didn't put them in here. Sorry. But something took place right here. Something took place right here. These were all sell disclosures. All sell disclosures right here in this move up, and you find out you got another one right there because, like I said, you're being sold into. Put this on a 24-hour chart. I do believe I did see the bearish divergence in here. So I was correct on the bear div in here as it was getting that push up into that 1.618. You can see the bearish divergence that was being formed here on the 24-hour chart for that move to the downside. So your mean reversion here on the 24-hour chart or daily chart, however you want to put it, is going to be back here on this ascending trend line, like I said. And then otherwise, I would be looking for something right here. I want to scratch off that 382, to be honest with you, on this particular pullback. I would, because I think that this is going to be more relevant in here into this gap. I really think so on that one, because like I said, when I looked at this on the higher time frame, this had been like your your basic pullback has been about this much right here, and it just happened to match up perfectly with the gap in here. So far removed from any sort of an earnings or anything like that on MU. But yeah, bearish divergence down through here. You will see another swing back up, especially if you can just get this right here. You're going to see another swing back up. I can already see where your momentum starts to say you've done a little bit too much in here. But anything can happen. Anything can happen. But super nice projection right there. Looks pretty decent over here on the other side over here. Your 3-day. I mean, not your 3-day, but your daily and your weekly in there. 2-hour. That's the one I really like to get into. 2-hour. Well, I did mention, you can see how we're already, yeah, right there. But a mean reversion back into here. That looks doable. It matched with what I looked at. Anyway, I'm gonna move on from this. I talked about Nike. Actually, I mentioned Nike again. Well, it's a hashtag Nike. But I mentioned Nike a few times in here. I'm gonna talk Nike again because I told you to buy it. Not financial advice, buy it. We talked about buying it. Remember I said to you too, it's like, dang, I tried to catch that $42 option call on Nike that morning, but I couldn't get it to execute fast enough before they started asking me to spend more money on a different call. So instead I did Celsius. Instead, I did Celsius, but look at Nike. Like this is on a lower time frame. Oh, yes, it is. It's on a lower time frame. I know. But Nike looks absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm really loving Nike right now. So up on the Nike purchase, which I told you I don't have a lot of capital. I'm really running low on my funds right now, and I'm having to, I do what I can. I put my money where I can put it. Just try to make it grow. That's all. And I don't spend a lot on anything. I just, it stays in the market. That's it. It stays in the market. I don't have a full time job, so you know, lucky for me, I don't pay bills either. Um, lucky for me. But nice move here on Stanaki. On Stanaki. A lot of I mean this is let's just say Mark. Mark G. I like Mark G. Mark G acquiring right in there. Who we got right here? We got Vanguard acquiring right through here. Who we got right here? We got Vanguard. No. This wasn't Vanguard. That was Tim Cook's purchase right there. So that was actually probably not even a purchase. Yeah. No. Hold on. What did I put in here? Oh, okay. So you had State Street. They were buying, which means they had some demand. Nobody's buying without that demand, right? This was actually a sale. this this was Mark. This was Mark G selling. Mark G started selling right there, and yeah, that was good old Timmy, Timmy, Timmy now, Timmy, Timmy Cook, um, acquired right here. So we're not about to mess this up. I can tell you that right now. Nike ain't coming back. It ain't coming back unless they're ready to buy some more, which I will be. I will be ready to buy some more. We might have hit our trend line to the upside right here on Nike. I have to push out to a higher time frame to see that. Let's go 4. No, we didn't hit it there on the 4 hour. Let's go to the 24. You see these? You see these bottoms? Do you see these bottoms? Jeez, do you see them? And I don't look so strong when we zoom out. So no, we did not hit our trend line in here. Our trend line is way up there. It's way up there. Let me auto. Yeah, so we haven't really done much in here. So it's not too late to be great. That's all I can say. It's never too late to be great. Never too late to grade. One thing about Nike, even though it's been on a free fall, I know people think that it looks like absolute garbage. The last time we came up into this trend line, we rejected right here as well. Like you won't really see it here. You have to be on after hours to see it. So I'm pushed right there. You can see on after hours how we came up and we rejected. Really don't forget that. Anyway, I must be getting sleepy. I'm never like this unless I'm really tired or something. I don't know. It's a great place to be. And if you don't know what this marker right here is, this is where my assumption was on let's go to a monthly time frame. My little dollar signs following me along, or my dollar notes following me along. But right here at this 47.25, this is the low call I was looking at here. Now, not saying that it couldn't go lower, but definitely a place of interest. And the fact that we came back to test it right there and we're not going much lower in here, that says a lot to me. That speaks volumes to me. And so I don't think it's coming back down into here. Now there are some things in here that had my interest for a little while, but and I was actually looking to wait to buy Nike. I was actually looking to wait because my greed had set in on me, and I was like, man, I can get Nike down at 20 something bucks, man. That would be great if I can get it down to 20 something bucks. So I would just wait. And then I came back and I looked at it and it was like, I think you should buy now. I think you should buy now. And of course, when that thought hit me, I said, sound the alarm because I'm not somebody that's going to move the market. So don't worry about me. I'm not going to move the market at all. Okay. I'm not going to move the market at all. What we got in here? Nope. Don't want to see that. In fact, I don't want to see that. Let's get rid of that. I had something else in here. That's not my VWAP because, yeah, VWAP almost had me ready to wait. Is it my fib extension? By golly, by golly, it is my fib extension. Okay, so I almost told myself, you know what? Wait, wait, wait to see if we don't get down there to that 1-to-1. And for all I know, Nike can still come down and hit the 1-to-1. Then I can hear the pessimistic people already, already calling it garbage. But it's absolutely not garbage. It's absolutely not garbage. Now Nike was overvalued for a very, 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 very long time. Overvalued for a very long time. But people were buying, and so it just kept squeezing higher and 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 higher. In fact, and let me hide all of these notes right here that probably need to be somewhere together. I got a little. Okay, I know what that is. I just put this in a folder like this because when I do this, I don't want it to get in the way of anything. But yeah, I almost didn't buy. I almost decided I'm just gonna wait and see if we can't tap into that 1-to-1 in here. But I changed my mind. I changed my mind after looking at it. Said, all of this bullish divergence here on Nike, Nike. I need to change this wording. It needs to be base. So let's go see. Let me hide this for now. Cause you see the problem. You'll see the problem. But once Nike crossed this base, it triggered a buy for me. It triggered the buy. It crossed this base. It seemed extended on the cross of this base. Which let me change the color because let's go green. Ooh. There we go. That was my trigger. That's why I decided to go ahead and buy. So this is without looking at any filings. This is without anything else. Really, I am big on this. I am big on this. Plus this. Plus just looking at, just basic technical analysis in here on this chart. Once we cross that base, I said, this is it. We about to turn back up this base because I want to see it reclaimed. Like that's very, very, very important right now is the reclaim of this base right here. And aside from that base there, let me see which time frame is it. Is it my yearly chart? No, that's too far. Is it that one? No, it's not that one. Is it that one? I think it is that one. I think it is my 3 months because we've done a lot of jumping around over here, so you can see down through here. It's corrective. By all means necessary, this is corrective. And yeah, but crossing that base right there, that's when I can start to say, all right, this is going to turn around. Now it had some sort of an attempt right here on the 3-month time frame initially right here. And so here became a great time to look at it. Like how many times have you seen this get like this? You don't. You don't see it get like that. You don't see it. You don't see it. This is quite exaggerated. This is corrective. You see that formation right there? That's corrective. As we're crossing below this mean here on the 3-month time frame, which historically wasn't something that Nike would do. But like I said, all through here, Nike was just one big massive squeeze to the upside. Just one big massive squeeze to the upside right through there. But this is corrective as crap. And that was the final move down, if you ask me. No, let's get it up there. Let's get it up there on Zenike. On Zenike. I haven't checked any comments. I don't. Maybe nobody's here to comment. I don't know. Yeah, probably nobody here to comment. Okay, great. Nobody actually talks to me anyway. Sometimes somebody will talk to me, but most of the time nobody talks to me. That's cool. That's cool. I like talking to myself. The Coin King is like, you're always talking to yourself. Yeah, yeah, I am. You know what I didn't learn until the other day? Because I really never just paid attention to it. I hate having all of these E's on the bottom of my chart for the earnings. I did not realize that it was considered to be an indicator. So when I turn off my indicators, it disappears too. Like I know how to take them off the chart. Obviously, I wouldn't be sitting here telling you I'm an analyst if I can't take it off the chart. But I just never realized that it was actually an indicator. So that when I turned off indicators, it also turned them off. But now I know. So now I know. I don't think it's coming back. Let me just put it to you like that. So you get in where you fit in, or you get left behind. Cause I mean, I don't even know that it's going to perform like it did back here. I don't know that it's going to perform that way. I don't know that. And if I was drawing a fib, let's draw the fib off of this low right here. Thought I already had this in here. So let's do our dynamic duo. And the one that I love in this case, which, yeah, I might not want to turn this one on right now. Oh, let's not do that one. Let's not do that one. 786 fib retracement. So anytime I'm seeing price action get in here to the 786 or even the 0.886 on a high time frame like this, on a, when I see that on a good company, and Nike is still a good company. When I see that on a good company, it's a buy. It's a buy. And you'll notice, like, if you look at Intel, like back when Intel was looking like total garbage before your favorite YouTubers started talking about buying Intel, moi, me was saying buy Intel. Before the government got involved, before Intel made its first big, nice little pop up for other people to be like, Intel is doing something. I didn't need all that. A good company will correct just as hard. Now, the only thing I can say I did not like about Intel, after the government picked up its purchases of Intel, was the 20 plus years, whatever it took for investors who bought in the dot-com bubble up at the high to make it back. But be careful with Intel. Okay, that's going to be another one I'm going to talk about. Not today. Be careful. Be careful with Intel. That's what I got to say about that. I don't even want to buy any retracements on Intel. I don't. But Intel is one that if you take a look at Intel's chart, Intel is one that once it got down to that 786 and to the 0.886, once it got in there, that's what I was saying. Yep, this is good. This is good. This is a buy. This is a buy. And I said, Intel is going to do good for 2025. This was when it looked like absolute sheesh. I said, this thing's about to turn around for 2025. It's about to turn around. Um, I need to check something. Hold on. Oh, no, 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 no. See, well, where were we at? Where were we at? Because I never let you forget it. I promise you. I promise you I'll never let you forget it. Now, did I end up selling in 2025? I sure did. I ended up selling. I announced that too, but you're not gonna see that today. You're not gonna see that today. But I let you know this was right in here. I set up a limit buy order for Intel. This is November 25th, 2024. I set up a limit buy order for Intel yesterday and it hit this morning. It's a bit of a risky move, but I'm betting on a comeback. Sometimes you gotta take a shot when the odds look interesting, and the odds look absolutely interesting. It looked stellar interesting for Intel. It really, really did. It really did. It looked really interesting for Intel. This is not financial advice, but I say it again. AMD is in a risk on environment. I gave you a buy plan. I said DCA into that AMD. Looking forward to come back into that trend line right here. Your DCA zones right here. Not financial advice, of course. I'm not going to tell you that it's financial advice. Tell you something that's financial advice. But we winning, baby. We winning. We winning around here. We winning around here. Um, those are my two favorite ones. They're not the only ones. They're not the only ones because I like finding good assets that have fallen below their 52 or whatever on whatever time. I don't care what it is. Like if it's a good company, it's a good company. I went in here and I said again a couple of weeks ago. It was a couple of weeks ago. When the last time I talked about this one right here? Because I haven't covered a whole bunch of other stuff with you guys, but and I'm not again. Nothing I say is financial advice. Nothing I say is financial advice. But as many times as I can repeat myself, I did say it again. It's very risky, and at the same time, ask yourself if you should be a buyer of Nike. Ask you to check out my prior posts that I've done on Nike. And when it rips, I hope it rips phenomenally because I'm gonna add this to my. I get to talk about this forever. Every time I come on, I'm gonna talk about it. Okay. I'm gonna talk about it. Palantir was another one. But Palantir was at its lows at that time. What Palantir was, and not low lows, because I wasn't one that actually looked at Palantir at its low lows. I picked Palantir up around $13. I saw a lot of posts on Palantir and a lot of people putting head and shoulders on Palantir, and it didn't make sense. And so I bought it. And it just, it just surprised me. It surprised me, and it did wonderful things. Celsius is another one. Celsius is looking good now. Now, got on now. Talked about now, saying now was a good buy, but I'm not going to get into all the ones that I call because it's not going to be a long stream. Not right now. How is now doing? Right now, I'm gonna jump back over here to this Nike though. Actually, let me just type it in. How is now doing today? Got to zoom out on this one because I know that we were seeing a little bit of a struggle in here after you can see the level over here. I got them stretched out kind of rather decently. After we got that push up into that 110 there. So we've been, trying to hold our ground right in here around this one hundo right here. But now still looks good to me. Now is a long-term play. So I'm not really concerned about the other stuff because it is a long term play. But it's your girl, boss, right here, baby. Bought it right here, baby. Yep. Now I might have to come back on here and say, bought it right here, baby. Because you never know. You never know. You don't know. Uh, but it looked pretty good. I think I did this as a, let me see. Hold on. No, not from there. Let's do it from right here. No, that's down lower. That's I might have to come back and say, board it down here, baby. Yeah, I don't know. Oh no. I might have to. No, let me move this. Let me move this. Let me pull this up. Yeah, I might have to come back and tell y'all about it lower. I don't know. But while I can brag on it right now, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. But now I think that was a good one. I do think that it's a good one. Speaking of now, yeah, I'm really gonna have to come back and jump in on this one at a later date, at a later later date. Um, was it? Yeah. So I said I was gonna take you back to Nike. All right. So on this monthly time frame, and let me see if I have that in here. Let me get rid of this right there. Let's see if I have it in here. I probably don't. I might have to push out on the higher time frame for you. I think I do. 3 month. Yeah, it's on 3 month. So you can see right here on the 3 month. Also, I'm gonna show you on the 12 on the 1 year chart as well. But you can see how Nike was in this crazy, just continuous squeeze to the upside here for Nike. At some point, it will catch up with you. Now, this is years down the road, of just consistently trading, probably outside of a standard deviation too, just like MU is looking right now, which is ridiculous. But at least um, Nike had some bumps in the road, So it wasn't just one huge candle pushing to the upside. It had some ebb and flows in here, which is nice. And then of course it gets to the point where it actually finally drops below that 20 SMA. So more than likely it was trading outside of a standard deviation too for a very, very, very long time. Probably a lot more visible if we push over here. And so then you can see that 12 is going to be a lot harder to move anyway. It's going to be a lot harder to move. So you can see where it actually broke that at, right in here. It breaks that on this candle right here. So now we can say, all right, let's continue up. Let's go back up. Let's try this again. Because it was so far removed, from. I'm just gonna do it like this right here because I don't. I'm gonna go back and do it with the Bollinger Band itself. So this is gonna be off from price action quite a bit, but right here, you can see finally that's the point where it ticks off right there, because it's a requirement again whenever it's expanding outside of the two or whatever. First of all, I like to look for a one for the point where it actually breaks a standard one. That's very important because otherwise it will continue trading in that environment. But that's the point right there. So if I'm looking at this, which may not give me a lot, given the nature of it, and I'm gonna do this because I want to turn off the lower stuff. Oh, that's upper. My bad. I'm gonna turn off the lower stuff. I just want to stick to the upper bands along with the 20 SMA there. So anytime you're that strong, your price action is going to stay in here. You can start looking for entries when you can see that that's being respected. So that's going to be your standard one right through here. Now this spread right here is really, really wide. It's a very wide spread here on the 12-month time frame here for Nike. Let me see what's going to be a good time frame. That's a big spread too. Um, but it's a good talking point right here, right? So the idea is it needing to break or close below here, close below a standard one. Once it closes below a standard one and it's been trading really, really, really strong, it usually retraces into the 20 SMA. It bounces from the 20 SMA, it comes back in and it back tests the standard one, and then it continues to the downside. Now that's a typical setup that I see repeatedly in terms of overextended charts when they get into a price discovery where you can't figure them out and you're constantly pulling fib levels for them. It's a classic setup with the Bollinger to look for that. I refer to the standard 1 and 2 trading range when price action doesn't leave that zone. When it doesn't leave that zone, I refer to it as the trap. Sometimes I call it the pocket as well. But that's what that looks like. And like I said, a standard setup would be breaking, closing below the standard one, possibly even tapping down here into the mean, which is going to be your 20 SMA, back testing, and then getting the continuation to the downside. And then you can see the point where it stops squeezing here on the 6-month time frame. Same thing once again over here. If it closes below it, then you wanna get that back test into it. Like it didn't quite make it back in here. Maybe it did right here on this wick right here, but really want to see it not continuing this. Otherwise, you're just using this right here to find your entries, like where we may have dropped below, reclaimed on a wick or something like that. Let me do it like that. So you can see, but obviously you can tell like this, you can tell that this is corrective. This is corrective. That ended up becoming corrective. This is not corrective. This is not corrective. This is corrective. This is not corrective. You get the point. But anyway, on the squeeze stuff, let me see it from a monthly perspective. You can also see like at some point we will start to squeeze. Everything will be surrounded. You can see that we have a bullish squeeze down here. A bullish squeeze. We'll see how long this bullish squeeze is going to take for us to get the break to the upside. How do we know that? Because we're going to get above that 20 SMA. It's going to eventually come above that 20 SMA. But we are squeezing down through here in this corrective formation at key areas of support down here. We start to tighten up in here. All the noise is going to be centered around this descending trend line right here. All the noise will be centered around this trend line right here, because it looks like we're going to see like some sort of a breakaway gap off of this trend line right here. We will end up seeing like some sort of a breakaway gap right through there as we are. Let's see if we're turning our bottom in here. So we haven't even started the process of turning the bottom in here just yet either, but we're trying to see our move back above that standard deviation 2 here after that gap down and whatnot in here. It's not the end all be all for me because I'm buying at these levels right here. I'm hoping that that was my last purchase that I needed to make for it. It looks juicy in here. Demand is coming in for it right here. You can tell from the bottoming of these wicks down here. But we have to start seeing some market structure shift as well, and we don't have that right now. For Nike, not on the monthly time frame. Probably like you can see it on the lower time frames and stuff like that. Let me see 2-week time chart. What we looking like in here? I know that we did get back above the weekly the weekly momentum trail. We did get back above the weekly one. The monthly one we have not done so yet. I will update you when we do get above the monthly one, but we did manage to get back above the weekly one. Like I said, that squeeze is going to start through here. Our classic setup on a Bollinger Band squeeze is going to be, well, you can see the one for the downside. So I can explain the one to the downside to you if you've never been here before and you want to know what that looks like. So you can see this right here. This is an onion. I call it a ball fist. So anytime you see my write up or you see me use the word ball fist, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm calling the Bollinger. Some people call it I don't know. Anyway, the compression in here. So what happens is you're gonna see like a mean retest on your RSI. You're going to see a mean retest on your RSI. And then you're going to see this right here looking to push outside of that lower band, the two together. When they line up like that together, this one down here, the CC is going to be around one of its 100 portals right there. And then the RSI is going to be around the mean, and it's very important for me personally for that strategy to work. And then that's how you can actually tell if you're gonna, you know, that's one way of seeing if you're gonna break down. As you can see right here, it had a squeeze right here, and again, like I said, it has the release from the 20 SMA, but because this was nowhere near the top side in here, I could tell you that it wasn't going to be a successful breakout. It wasn't, because typically this is going to line in with a breakdown from the Bollinger. And the reason it works so good with it is because they both use the same SMA in their coding. So in the script that's being used for the CC and the script that's being used for the Bollinger Band, they're interchangeable. They're very interchangeable. So you'll learn that if you don't already know that. But it's a great strategy. Speaking of, so this right here, this is what you're seeing with MU. I'm gonna hide my drawings for a minute here. You're seeing this very extended chart, trading in the trap, trading outside of standard deviation 2 here. And when it does correct, then likely just to correct back down into a standard 1. Maybe even sometimes it'll just be in between here, or like it did right here for that little small push to the downside right there, because it sometimes it won't come all the way back down to it. I mean, again, over here, especially when it's trading so far out beside it. But when it does start to pull back, great places to look is going to be somewhere around that 790, which I think we talked about that right there, that gap that's in here. Let me see. Yeah. So you can see where my gap is at. My gap is right here on that push outside of this standard deviation 2. So coming back in to that would be a great retracement for MU, a great place for price action to come back to. Now, does it happen today? I don't think they want you to see a nasty candle on the chart, but I think it got a nasty one right here, did it not? But that's what that looked like. Then look at it here. And then this is what I mean by when you look at it, when you look at this right here, you see how this is still turned to the downside. So momentum is still increasing to the upside. Eventually it will, like on the higher time frame, you'll be a little bit late, but that's fine. When it stops doing that, you will see it curve. You see it start to turn, but right now it's just straight to the floor. Straight to the floor. So it's not necessarily something to fade. Straight to the floor. Not something you want to fade at all. I think it was the 24-hour time frame where you can see right in here where it turned and stopped leaning straight into the floor. That's when you usually see the momentum start to cap a little bit in here. And it's already done that turn phase down here when it got that first pullback right there before that bounce back up. So that's just ridiculous. But like I said, because this is still extended out like this right here, usually you won't see this start to curve at all until price taps this. It would have to tap that for the first time. Even if it came back and it did this right here, it won't change the environment of it. It's typically once it does this right here that you'll see it curve. It doesn't mean it's over, not by a long stretch, but it's usually once it comes back and do something like that. So that's just below my 3, but that fluctuates, so you never know where it's gonna be, when it's gonna be. Right now, I would focus on this gap in here and that 50% retracement right in there. And if lucky, maybe it'll come back down into this trend line right here. But rejection off of that 1.618 here from Micron. Micron. I will only be looking for longs on this thing. I mean, even though I know that they're selling, they're offloading this thing right here. Every chance they get on the push to the upside, they're offloading on it. I would still look for a long on this because um, it's very aggressive right now. Too aggressive to be risking trying to take a short on it. Even if you guess it right, it's I mean, you can be the goat. You can be the goat and still get slaughtered. That to me says relax and come back into that. Anyway, I don't really have a lot to really get into. I just wanted to talk about that, especially that Paulo Celsius. Celsius was really my main thing. Let you know that I was out of the. Well, I'm still holding my my buy orders that are not it's different. That's different. Oh, let me get this thing off of here. Get that off of there. So to stop doing that with my chart. Just letting you know that I was out of that option because I told you I'd let you know how that was going with me. And again, I thought it was going to be a little struggle right here. See if we can't come back and hold this on Celsius. I still say Celsius is going higher. Looking for Celsius to get into that 35.22, but I'm not holding no call. I'm not holding no option stuff like that. I'm really not because it's already a huge risk to do that. I just rather buy stuff with my money. But just figure it this time. Because the Coin King has kind of been bugging me about it too. All the money that could be made making calls. All the money that could be made making calls. It's risky. It's risky. Leverage trading is here to take your money. It is here to take your money. Have you seen Bitcoin? I think I just got stopped out of my Bitcoin long position. Sure did. It sure did. So while I'm here, before I GTO, I told you the long position that I had set up in here for Bitcoin, which came from the weekend. I was looking for actually let me tell you what I did. Let me tell you what I did. Because I told you over the weekend, I decided I wasn't going to enter until we got back above this support level right here, because this was our support level right here. Now we're still lingering around the support level here from the low of this box right here. And if you don't know what this box is, let me tell you what this box is right here. That's 74,909. Okay, that's what that box is, 74,909, and then the top side is 75,780. That I wouldn't take this entry on this trade right here unless for some reason I could see it starting to put in some sort of a floor in here and coming back up, because we were below this level right here. Wasn't thinking that price action was going to come back up here and tap into the VWAP or any of that stuff right there. I just figured, okay, this is just going to be a scalp position. I'm going to be done with it and get out of it. But that wasn't the case. And then it went up a little bit higher. I took a bit more profits off of it. I left the rest of it sitting in here. So that just got eaten up. In fact, when we got down here, I added a small amount to that position, which moved my entry up overall. But I left the stop where it was, because even hitting my stop, it wasn't a lot on the trade. So me giving back a little bit was absolutely fine with me. There is a high volume node through here off to the if you look to the left, which I don't have that on right now, but there is a high volume node in here that was holding price up at the time we were talking about this over that weekend. But for me right now, I need to see liquidity grabs. I'm not going to take a long off of Bitcoin. This is what I told you this morning. I'm not going to take a long off of Bitcoin. I'm already short on Bitcoin from higher up. I wasn't looking to enter into a new short on Bitcoin right now because I have one. I don't see a reason. When I'm looking at Bitcoin's chart, to me, the daily time frame says, hey, between today and tomorrow, I'm gonna pop up a little bit. And I still think they're going to come up here and take out this liquidity right here. Like they reached for it on this move right here, but they didn't quite get to it. And I still think that this liquidity right here is going to be taken. There's also a CME gap. Well, not the there is a CME gap, but I can take my focus from the CME gap for a minute. Okay, so where we actually, yeah, you know what? I'm moving. I'm doing a little bit too much right now. I probably need to save that information for tomorrow. But let me just stick with this right here. Now, if I'm probably not going to re-enter in here. I do need to see the liquidity grab. This right here is not going to be the liquidity grab for me. I want to see market makers come in and take the liquidity here from the weekend. And then that's why I start to look for a long position. As I stated this morning, I gave it a slight deviation below this low right here because that's what a liquidity grab is, right? It goes below that point. So there's no sense in having an entry directly on that point. It goes below that point. And then my stop loss is really tight because I already given it enough room. So when I put the entry and the stop loss together, that's a 0.50% um, move for Bitcoin in here. And if that doesn't work, then I would start to look lower. But I'm not banking on this right here. I'm really thinking this right here. If the I have no choice but to look for a new long now because I need to hedge too. Um, if what I'm looking at for the daily time frame is correct, then tomorrow and weekend pump is in play because it didn't happen today, which I said is between today and tomorrow is what I said to you early this week. No, last weekend is what I said to you last week at the end of last week that you're not gonna get a meaningful pump out of Bitcoin right now, not at least until we get to next week, and then you have to take Monday out of the equation. I'm looking like in the middle of the week, we will only have 2 days, which would be Wednesday and Thursday, for that to happen. That's what I said to you last week, and now we're here this week. So, but again, this right here, it is trying to get back inside of this area right here. And if I push you over, let's see. Huh, interesting. Hold on. How many charts did I move past? Just one? Oh, because that's the only two I got on in here. My bad. Let me put on this one right here too. Let's get rid of that. Um, Maybe it's in here. No, it's not. I just figured maybe it would be. Um, I'm just gonna do the VRVP, keeping it simple. All right. So you see right here. Oh, come with me. Oh, never mind. Let me not do that. Let me not do that. Cause yeah, no. Turn my magnet off. Turn my magnet off. So you can see right here, that node right there, and then you can see this one right here. But it looks like my resistance area, it might be trying to give me some trouble right in here now. It might try to. They might try to, but right through here, all the way down to where it was. So if we, for that first setup that I'm looking at, have to have that reaction, for the grab and then reclaim. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. It has to be quick. Because otherwise it's gonna force me to look down lower. Now ugh, ugh. And I don't really care for the second setup. Not if that daily is gonna come through for me. Which, hold on for a minute. Let me refresh something. It looked like this chart over here just stopped moving all of a sudden. Sometimes Blowfin will do that. I was looking at something else on my screen. Sometimes it will do that. So I might have to. No sense in me getting stopped out just to re-enter at the same area, right? I really want that liquidity to be taken before I take my entry. That's what I really want to see. Then that gives me a little bit more confidence because if it holds that, then like I said, that'll be true to the that's the largest node right now is this one right here at this moment. Now last time it wasn't that. Last time it was this right here. Where we see those two little bottoms at right there. But like I said, we still have to get back into here. And now I need for us to get back into here a little bit higher because we didn't have this here at first. That wasn't there, which I don't really care. I don't really care about that. I just know that we are hitting resistance trying to come back in here, which is why I waited when this move right here happened, waited for it to happen. And the only encouragement I had at the time was the Bollinger Band strategy as I was looking at it in here, which 15-minute. I'm not supposed to even be here, Bitcoin. I'm not supposed to even be here. We're extending a bit here on the 4 hour. I can tell you that. I know that we're in the trap here on the 4 hour right here. So that's 75,030 somewhere in here. I usually just find a candle that I can rely on. I really needed to eat its own tail right now, but we're in here right now. We're inside of this right now, outside of this, inside of it. Um, and we're still trying to push down a little bit more. So yeah, I want that liquidity grab. I really do. If I see a reason for me to get into it without the liquidity grab, then I will. But I really want the ooh, get out of here. We're putting some bullish divergence. It looks like here on this 1 hour. We are. Very minor, but I could tell it from that number 2 right there that we was probably putting in some bullish divergence in here, just like we put in some bullish divergence right through here on that drop right there. That daily's gonna do it eventually here. It's gonna do it. And over here, so this is another attempt to get us back in here. Right through here. I don't like to get stopped out and then I feel FOMO to jump in. I don't want FOMO. I don't want FOMO no mo. Why does this read high indicators and it's not high to indicators? That was weird. Unless I just clicked on it and never followed through. I don't know. That was weird though. I just wanted to take that away from us for a second. Yeah, I don't like to get stopped out. That is an SFP right there. But I don't like to get taken out and then, enter in at a less. I mean, it's still the same. 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 But in this case, I don't need to be the fastest horse out of the stable. I just need for Bitcoin to. I'm gonna need to see that same effort being put in. I need to see. It's one more thing I want to see on the 4 hour time frame too. One more thing I want to see on the 4 hour time frame. I mean, it can happen without it doing it, but yeah, yeah. I'm staying. I'm gonna wait for that liquidity to be hit, or it's going to have to show me something different. I'm cool with that. I don't need to rush, which is this liquidity down here again. That's my thoughts. No need to rush in on this one right here because we're just going lower at the moment. I just want to catch that daily time frame. That's all. Want to catch that daily time frame move that I believe is gonna take place in here. Let's see me there. This is shares right here. So looking at it, see this. This is exactly what the liquidity is. You see how we tried to come up and we tried to take that. They're gonna try to get in here. They're gonna try to get in here. I'm almost certain of it. They're gonna try to get in here and get this. This is what that daily is gonna do. It's gonna bring us back up, and we're gonna get the rest of this liquidity that's sitting in here. Like, let me just stretch it. Just stretch it. They're gonna get this liquidity right in here. They tried right there. They're gonna get it. They're gonna get it. So I just gotta play my cards right. Be patient just for that move right there. Be in and be out. Just like that. But they're gonna get that. Oh yeah, I see the little potential head and shoulders in here also. But the invalidation of this shoulder is gonna be beautiful. That's gonna be beautiful. That was a 10Q quarterly report that was filed. And boom. And boom. They're going to get that liquidity. I know they are. So, if you got the patience, wait for the liquidity grab. Because in an environment where dealers are gamma short, the volatility is in that environment. What else do we have to look for right now? Liquidity. That's what we have to look for right now. Liquidity. Because this is the time where they buy the dips and they sell the rallies. No, they sell the rallies, they buy the dips. Same thing. Same thing. Same thing, gal. Same thing. But wait on that. See if we can't get that. And then at that point, we might get a little bit too close to the 50 period moving average, and then everybody, not 50 period moving average, but the 50 field level. Like, we gotta touch a field. We gotta touch a field. We don't have to. We don't have to. This is all about liquidity grabs right now. So there is no loans to be taken without liquidity being taken. There are no loans to be taken. And I'm not talking new liquidity, I'm talking old liquidity. There's no loans to be taken until old liquidity starts getting taken. And then we got ourselves something. And we got to get to that liquidity first. Let's start there. All right, that's it. I really don't feel like leaving though. Even I don't care if I'm here by myself. I don't care. I don't care. You know what? I'm bored and I'm actually happy. I'm in my happy place right now. But I can't stay on Bitcoin. I just can't stay on Bitcoin. Um, things are gonna be looking a whole lot different around here. How did hype end up doing? While I'm here, I see you losing. I mean, right now we don't know. It's an hour left on this candle. It can leave a wick behind just like it did right there. But it definitely started filling in here. Definitely started filling in here. Um, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry about this possibly not happening. I'm sorry about it. I'm sorry about it. It is what it is. I thought that it would have did more than a 71. It did so much over here. I expected for it to do more than a 71 to get to here. Cause it's a wave five, but wave five can stop anywhere in here. I'm so used to it at least doing that right there. This first don't want to change that. No, you ain't where you had it at. That ain't where you had it at. So I mean, this still at the moment, still looks corrective at the moment. It still looks corrective. Um, but it's gonna be another story if it does get down here below this low. And then when it does get the break here for a lower high, and then somebody who been trying to short might actually be successful at that point. Uh, might actually find some success. Zek. Again, as stated this morning, I think Zach is gonna put in like a falling wedge through here. I think it's gonna put in a falling wedge through here. Personally, I do. Um, but great topping structure. Great topping structure in here. Would love to see it down in here though. So far, uh, golden pocket 786. Probably see a small correction right here from this golden pocket 786, despite it losing that VWAP right there, unless the momentum back to the upside, kind of accelerates a little bit too fast, then it'll probably break VWAP, come back, reject off of VWAP, and then be looking for it down into here, like I said earlier. There on that one. So I don't really see anything new on that one. This is the triple V's that I don't like. I don't like these triple V's because it stays. This is garbage at this point. Now, no, no. This is whatever they've been doing. Let me turn that noise off. Whatever they've been doing. Yeah, I don't like the V's. I don't like the V's. I don't like these V's. It's false hopium. It's false hopium. Wow. Wow. Virtual. I mean, when we were looking at it earlier, like I said, it had to get back above this right here. Had to get above this right here. Didn't do it. Didn't do it. It was either get above that. Yeah. Didn't do it. Near trying to hang on for dear life, but I seriously think that was that top. I really think that might have been that top. Yeah, once virtual can't hold on to this anymore, and let's just say it breaks it and then it back tests and then it starts rejecting off of it. And all this is right here is the prior high. The prior high from back in the day, you look to your left, that prior high right there, that is trying to show some respect to. And yeah, trying to show some respect to. The other thing would be taking out this low right here. Um, and if we see any sort of formation, then that could make a difference. But taking out this low right here and not managing to break below here, this is also considered to be the prior high as well. But you have to look at it. You have to view it from a line chart perspective, right? Well, this right here is the wick. This is the body right here. So between these two, very important for hyperliquid. Very important for if it does come into here. Like I said, it needs to have some structure on it that suggests that it's gonna go back up. Otherwise, it's just a break, and you start to see hyperliquid roll over a bit more. Uh, yeah. That's it. I guess I'm waiting on that. And if I'm not waiting on that, then it's going to have to do something to make me want to jump into it. And right now, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Not yet. Not yet. So patience. Patience, young ones. Patience. Um, hey, John. John 316. Hey, love. Blessings. ZBCN. What is ZBCN? What is ZBCN? I don't know if this is long term or let me get off of this chart. I gotta see what's happening with it first of all. Let me see what is happening with this here from a weekly perspective. Huh. Sorry, I had to pause for a second. I just see a bunch of stuff just running through my head with this chart. All right, so first things first, see what you want to hold. Want to hold any sort of a retest into this right here. I want to see that hold. As it was a demand zone, you can see it had like some sort of a smaller triangular structure right here with these inside bars right here. So you can tell that that was worth something at one point. And that's probably lining up with, yeah, I figured it was going to line up with that golden pocket just because of that. So your pullback is going to be that. I can already see what your issue is right here. There's two levels in here actually. You got this one right here, and then you got this one right here, but it's not too far below it. You can draw that out as one huge zone right there. So let me see where you're at on T1 4 hour. Yes, definitely flip bearish all the way. You're going all the way. Looks like I've looked at this chart. ZBCN. What is this for? ZBCN. What is that for? I've looked at you for some reason. Was it daily? Sure did. Looked at this on a daily time frame, looking for a cap on it, and that was the cap. Swing failure. Nope, it didn't even get to the swing failure. Why is that red? Why are you not orange? Yeah, I looked at this. Somebody must have asked me to look at this before. Interesting. So you're actually at some place where it would be more convenient for you to hold with this. It's making some sort of an attempt right here as well to do so, but right through here at this bottom trend line right here. Ooh. There's 1, 2, 3 taps there. Yeah, Bitcoin is trying to tempt me, but I'm gonna sit on the sideline. I promise you. I promise you, I will sit on the sideline until put in any bullish divergence in here. So while I cannot guarantee you on your move from here back up, it is simply between this ascending trend line right here of support and possibly even this right here. Like this right here would be really critical in my opinion. You will want to lose that one. That was the first one that caught my attention looking at the weekly time frame and the possible importance of that for a higher low since I just got to turn this noise off. I'm sorry. No, I want to keep that. Let me turn that noise off. Okay. Um, yep. So important. You actually don't want to lose that trend line. Sheesh. It's too overlappy. Um, it's too overlappy, so I can't. I can't see anything impulsive about the move. Whatever was impulsive was over here on this side, but it's very overlappy throughout here. So as far as the Elliott wave count would go, it would be very difficult for me to give you something on that, John. But it is defined by its ability to be able to hold this right here. Because if it doesn't, then you can forget about that. I also just saw where the MACD likely um, is about to break lower. I didn't actually look at the MACD, but I could tell from the moving averages, the zero threshold and the double, yeah, the cross in here was probably something that took place on it. Um, while price is not accelerating at the moment, it can definitely lead to that once it loses that ascending trend line. And that's it. If you're looking to, as far as a long-term outlook goes, I would say no on this thing right here. I personally would say that about it. I personally would. You don't have a lot of support levels in here, not a lot of stuff to go off of. This is one right here. They got um, they got blessed right there, and you got multiple down through here. So any one of these three right in here would do you. I'm gonna go with the earliest one right there on this. And this probably I'll leave it as such. Yeah, if it holds there, then it will, it will be a reversal point in here for ZBCN, but it doesn't look like it's gonna hold. It doesn't look like it's gonna hold. And then it had the bearish, not really, because it did move beyond this point right here. It's a back test of the mean right now. It is the most important area for it to hold. So if you lose that, then I would have to tell you that this thing is just going to roll over from here, because I don't see the structure in here. That was corrective, but this would have to be year 1, 2 right here for continuation in here. It's an inside bar, so that's cool too. So you know where your invalidation comes if you don't want to use the ascending trend line that's through here on it. Then let me look back and see if it's making any sort of relevant. Yeah. I think this was a 382 retracement right here, which is quite shallow right in here. And for that reason, I just wanted to see what it was doing in here. So it is building out some sort of a, a flag that's going to break to the downside. Flag, pennant, whatever the choice word is going to be. That initial bounce up right there. And so if it's doing that, I'll put it to that low there. See where that comes in exactly where I'm looking at right here. Comes in exactly where I'm looking at in here on a breakdown from this trend line and a push down into this 0.002 right here for ZBCN, because it looks like it could be a wave 4 right here and then a fifth wave down here to the downside. It's very choppy in here, very overlappy, corrective in here, and here it's not. So that could be the case. John, my guy. It could easily be this situation. Could easily be this situation. If it don't come all the way back to that, then you know, then do something like that back into the golden pocket right here. Can be the case right there. Yep. So that's all I got on that. Sorry. Bitcoin's trying its best to get back above this support. Trying its little bestest. Got a gravedigger on the 4 hour time frame. You know what that is. Sometimes I say this stuff. Some people have been here before and they understand. Some people have not. But you do have a gravedigger in here. You had a gravedigger right here as well on the bounce up on this time frame. The last time that gravedigger was right here as we were around that those nodes in here. So it's definitely working to stall price out a little bit and show you the gravedigger. No, you actually didn't have the gravedigger right here. It must have been on another time frame. I think it was a 1 hour time frame then. You got one right here, right now. Maybe you just can't see it too good. You can't see it too good. It's really, you see where you got the bull div at right here. You gotta squint. You gotta squint to see it. But you see how you got the bull div right here inside of this, wrapping up under below it like that. And then you got the bull div right here, and you got the wrap underneath it. I refer to that as a gold digger. You got one right here. You come up, you come back, and this is wrapping itself underneath it. That is that. Like you see it, you get used to seeing it, but it's right there. It's right there. It's right there. I'm still not taking this without a liquidity grab. Or we can get another swing by coming down here to this trend line again. This line right here. Now we could do that. And how we swing, how we do SFP right here. We can do an SFP. Yeah. I'll touch it. We can get an SFP. I'll touch it. Or we get some bullish divergence from price action, which would be price action taking this liquidity here from this low right here. Momentum not breaking down, coming back below this low, because right now that could happen. We can have some bullish divergence in here. You remember I was complaining about that? I was complaining about when we got this pump right here, how we did not have any bullish divergence. The only thing, well, not from the RSI anyway. Like you can count the little petty stuff that's down through here, but we didn't have any bullish divergence as quickly as we were kind of moving down here over the week on Friday. Into Saturday, how quickly we're moving down to not get the bullish divergence for me to be like, and I said it when we tap right here. I said I don't care about the swing failure right now. I just don't. It's gonna have to give me a reason to want to get into it. It just has to give me one. It just has to give me one, without that bullish divergence in here. And you got that little petty mess down there, but a little petty mess right here again, right here. So I would love that bullish divergence on the liquidity grab. Absolutely. Yes. 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 It's trying its best not to do this. This little inside range. Hope it's not a 3 inside up. It is a little inside range right there. Love a good inside range. A little bullish divergence on the RSI here as well on the 15-minute time frame. Bullish divergence on the MACD on the 15-minute time frame. Bullish divergence on the CC on the 15-minute time frame. Bullish divergence on the BB on the 15-minute time frame. Bullish divergence everywhere on this 15-minute time frame, but it just still won't get me to do it. It won't get me to do it. You had the bullish divergence down through here. You had the smaller. These be the ones right here, the ones you can't see, the ones that be hiding out and hiding out in the alley right here, and the ones you can't see. Them be the ones right down. Them be the ones right there, like that petty wetty over there on that 4 hour time frame I was just talking about. But you got bullish divergence right there on the. You got bullish divergence right here as well. You got bullish divergence right here as well. So you got bullish divergence everywhere. It's another one that you can't see it, but it's bullish divergence everywhere on this 15-minute time frame. Makes me want to FOMO in. I need to see it reclaim. Dang, if I was gonna do it, that would have been it though. That would have been it. I need to see it reclaim. Maybe back above here. I think that's about where that node was sticking out at. That was causing a little bit of a hiccup in here as well. Maybe I'll do that. I mean, it would make sense to take the entry from lower, but I don't want to FOMO into it. I really don't. I really want the liquidity to be taken. I really do. And we're back on our oof. Ooh, you can see we back at here, which it makes sense at this point for it. It makes sense at this point for it to be back at it. But just like the last time, right there, I mean, it makes sense at this point. If I'm looking here and here, it makes sense. It's never going to make sense over here. So I know that other bounce is coming here on this daily time frame. It's gonna take out that shoulder. I keep saying it because I feel it. I feel it. It's gonna take out that shoulder. It's gonna take it out. And then of course, that level that you're seeing us trying to get back above on that lower time frame is none other than this right here. It looks like we're trying to push down below it here, but we're actually trying to get back above it. And we're above it currently on the 15-minute time frame. Obviously, you can see the price action line right there. But when you zoom out, you see it's that right there. That's what it is. At that low of that box right there. That's what it is. It's probably going to get scary for quite a few people when they do see that dip there, and then it takes this liquidity from this low, and then it bounces back up, and then it takes this liquidity from this high, this double top liquidity, this equal high liquidity right here. When it comes back and it takes that, and then you got to talk about how it's a complex head and shoulder at that point. Or maybe it looks as complex as this 1, 2, 3 right here before price came up and took that out. But take that and then take that, and then take it again, then come down here and take this right here. Because it won't stop here. It won't stop here. Because it's hung out here too many times. And there's a chance, which is right in here. But it'll be a nothing burger. Then it'll take that low right here. Bullish divergence on 1 hour. Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do. Be like, neckline broken. Boom, 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 boom. Trying to see if I can get this entry while I'm here. If I don't, I just don't. Trying to see if I get it. I'm not doing it just yet. Yeah, I think it'd be good to go down here. I'm not doing it just yet. Otherwise, it'll probably come back up here to that mean reversion at 75, 171. See a rejection right there. Then I can see how it behaves after that. But that might be about all it does right here. It doesn't look too good, in my opinion. Let me check something else out here. I might be wrong. Yeah, I think it could probably do something like that. Just maybe even just a wick up above that right there. If it did come up, still see some resistance in here on that. Where to be something sort of like this, and then you get that one little move that it ends up making where it breaks down and then reclaims and goes. Actually, where was the Bollinger High at? Oh, it's all the way up here. Wouldn't that be something? I think it's best to look for a long on it for sure. Again, I think the daily is going to pop up. I think the daily is going to pop up. So Look for a long on it. It's a little bit too high. While I'm here, actually, I won't bother you guys with it. I'll take a look at it myself. How's SPY doing at the moment? Bouncing off of that gap. Bouncing off the head of that gap. And oil. Is that what we were looking for earlier today? Oil to drop down into that 87.59. It looks like we got that tap into that. And then we got our attempt in here. So we got what I was looking for earlier. It looked like it's still trying to roll back up here on oil. And put you over there because I want to take you away from this little chart over here. Oil is putting in some bullish divergence right now. I said SPY bounced off of that gap. See this right here. Here comes Wally World. I put Wally World on my on my call list, I started this little list in here before I go because I really didn't come here for Bitcoin today, but I'm gonna go back over there to it before I G-toes. But I put Walmart on my call list. Remember, I was looking at Walmart in here. I think Walmart's trying to. I mean, it's not gonna be anything major in here, in my opinion. But over the course of, I don't know, maybe one, two. Um, oh man, I missed my show last night. I just thought about it. I'm just trying to make sure. I know it's not touching that line right there, but I just want to make sure that it is. Okay. Make sure I get it right. I don't like to get lines wrong. It is on my call list for a call strike. Back up and get into that gap right there. Bare minimal. Bare minimal. Last time I talked about it, I told you that I wanted to see it close back above this 120. It did not do that. In fact, it tapped into that VWAP for that rejection there. And then it's either between this 118 or this 115 down here where this ascending trend line is at. But I like the fact that it double, like I was looking at it down here for it to um, curve up. I did not like the bear divs through here though. So let me just be clear about that. So whatever happens in here, maybe it's just another rejection in here from that. And then you see it start to figure it out. I don't think I was really watching it from that time frame either. I was watching it from a 4 hour perspective because I could see that it was it was going to do like an SFP, and it was either, yeah, and actually where it is right now on this, right here, because that was the initial, but that's the club foot right there for a breakdown, and then of course not managing to get back above that VWAP for that rejection. So that was important. So it was either get back above that VWAP or wait for it to do something like this right here. But I would have done a little call on this one right here. But I just closed out again at Celsius today. I don't think that it's gonna do much in here, but it would have been enough. It would have been enough. It would have been enough, especially if it can get back into here. I don't like to sit into anything for too long, but it's in my little thing that I've made over here. I call it the call. Yeah, it's called a call. Has Celsius, WMT, and Nike in here. I've never been a fan of Walmart. Let me just get that cleared up. Never been a fan of Walmart, but I'm a fan of seeing when something might actually bounce or something, bounce or drop. I'm a fan of that. I know that much is true. I'm a fan of that. It's been a long time since it got this hyper low on a 4 hour time frame as well. Last time it was back over in here on this drop right here. But each time it does, this is the thing about it. When I was going back through it, especially on this time frame right here on the 4 hour time frame, each time it does, it puts in bullish divergence. So you won't miss it. Whatever it's trying to do, it tends to put in the bullish divergence before it get her done. Before it gets her done. So that's why I'm making reference to the bullish divergence in here, the VWAP right there. That this is the one. Um, this is the one that we back tested on that rejection right there. And then the other one, if it was to just start to, and this would be from a higher time frame perspective, but I'm not looking at the higher time frames right now. If I was looking at a higher time frame perspective, then we get into this red zone down in here about 109, something like that. But as far as this is concerned, I was simply looking at liquidity lows or liquidity sweeps for Walmart. So nothing special in here. Even with that to 120 right there for Walmart. But it's trying to end something right here right now because it's getting very choppy and corrective like. It's either gonna end it or it's gonna, like I said, might come back up into here, might break this, and then absolutely it's gonna fail some kind of way. Obviously, it's gonna fail some kind of way. But my observation came from this time frame right here. because I like a good base to work with. See, Bitcoin is trying to do that little thing over there. I'm not in the Bitcoin long, but it might work. It might, it might work. It might. And daily is looking like booty as well. So that I mean that's what I liked about it. Daily was looking like booty as well. Gotta like it, man. I like it. I absolutely like it. Got that. I should have made my buy this morning. Hmm. I could have made my buy this morning on this. On this, I didn't. Hmm. See, on the weekly, it can give me more because all this thing did was bearish divs all the way up. On this weekly, it could give me more, but it was really this 4 hour that made me feel some kind of way. Some type of way, make me feel some type of way. So these have been and it can be adjusted. Probably wouldn't have caught the first one without doing something like that, but these have been the swing fails right here, a little swing fail right there, and she got this through here. Let me put that like that. It's always weird to me how when you move to a different time frame, VWAP, it just shows up differently. You go to the other time frame, it shows I reject right here. You come right here, I reject right here. It's always, I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I see somebody had just put in a sell for strat. Sell for strat. How much bearing would that have on Bitcoin? Who knows? I was hopeful on strat, but I see them sales popping up there on strat. On strat. STR. Mm. Market is boring. I don't care what time of the day it is. It's just boring. All right, we're a long way off of market close, and I guess I'll come back here later on. Like I said, I think it can probably get up here into that 75, right around in here. Possibly wick through it. Of course, no, it doesn't have to be like I can only tap it and I can't wick it. Sure, it can. Sure, it can. It is trying to get back above um an aggressive sale to the downside too, which is It's beautiful. Like I said, plenty of bullish divs in here. So I'll let it build out a base in here first, and then I'll consider where my entry will be. But the daily is going to flip back up. The daily's going to flip back up. And they're going to take that liquidity up there. It sounds like I have a crystal ball. I like the little bull div again. The little bull div down here on the 1 hour time frame. Earlier today, we were putting in bearish divergence. Um, we were putting in bearish divergence right in here. I had to turn that off. But we're putting in the bear divs right through here. Putting in those bear divs. I said earlier today or yesterday. I don't know. Yeah. And then we grab the liquidity and that little bit. And dip, baby, dip. Dip, baby, dip. I feel my energy slowing down. I've said goodbye like 50 times. Well, I think I said enough. You know what my idea is. I mean, it might want to continue to hold in here, just chop around right in here, never getting down. I had to take the liquidity, but I'm waiting on it. I'm waiting on it. I think it's a beautiful setup. I think it'll get a lot of people confident in a head and shoulder neckline break, and then it bounces up, and then it goes out and takes out that left shoulder or right shoulder if you're looking at it. It goes up and takes that out, and then it takes out the low again. It do something like that. But anyway, it is an environment where it is going to be very volatile, and then you'll see the pumps up being sold off, of course, and they'll buy these little dips just to take liquidity from the tops and the lows right now. That's the environment that we're in. So that's my feelings on that. Have a friend who do okay, I saw a message pop up. Have a friend something. Hopefully everything goes all right here. Getting closer and closer to that time for earnings and whatnot. Again, I feel confident on Salesforce. Confidence doesn't make the moves happen, but I feel confident on Salesforce. I do. CRM, I feel confident on it. I feel bearish on some of them other ones. I do, I do. Well, why? Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, that's, you know what? I didn't look at. I didn't look at. I decided to. Let me see. When was this? Yesterday, I was looking at this garbage too. Texas Instrument. Like why? Like why though? Why is it? I was like, why is this pumping? Like why? What? Why? Why these things are gonna get some people? Some people making money. Some people making money, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I could see that. I could see that right there on that one too. I was looking at it. It's one of it's on the list. I think I had that on the list. I didn't have it on the list. Why would I not have it on the list? Probably because of the market cap or something. I could have sworn that showed up on the thing I had pulled up, and then when I was making my decisions, TXN was there because that's the reason why I ended up adding it to watch. Huh? I don't know. I don't know what happened with that. But that and this and CrowdStrike is gonna be doing this little thing too next week. Uh, Okta's getting ready to report. When does Okta report though? Yeah, tomorrow. Okay, Okta. Remember all of these was talking about these the other day because they were all just really just doing crazy stuff. Your crowd strike, your Okta, your Quasly, all of these just on a rampage. Cybersecurity just on a rampage. Fortnite, all on the rampage. MU. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I need to get up. I need to get up and go. Core Weave. I think this one is doing pretty good. Honest. I didn't buy it. I talked about it a little while back, but I did not buy it. I did not buy it. I appreciate all the insiders for buying this thing. Right. I appreciate you all of you for buying. All of you. Come on, CRM. Make me happy. How's Novo been doing? I think it's been doing pretty decent. That's me talking to myself. I think it's been doing pretty decent. How is gold doing? Last time I looked at it, it wasn't doing too sweet. I don't have it on the right time frame to really take a look at it. Okay, how is all of this still doing? Your quantum compute stuff still doing? Pony reported earnings. Look at that. Pony reported earnings. I missed it. You know what? I actually did not. I just buy Pony. I don't even keep up with it. I just buy it. I don't keep up with it. So I haven't bought any in a little bit now. I was gonna buy down in here, but I didn't. Um, I think I might have. I can't remember why. I can't remember why I didn't buy. Probably trying to get something else instead. But all right, Pony. I like that pop up after that earnings. After that earnings. I like that. I like that pop up. Yeah, I was gonna buy because this is my last line. This is my last line. Is that one? I don't have one below that. Oh, I do. I do. It's way down there. It's way down there. It's way down there. Way in the water. I'm like, I don't have another one. Oh, you got another one. You got another one. You got a lot of nerves. Pony, I'm gonna need for you to get on back up there though. Pony was looking beautiful all through here. I was riding it all through here. Good old Pony. All through here. Good old Pony. No sense in me dropping it now. Look at this. It doesn't mean anything until it means something. It doesn't mean anything until it means something. How you want to behave? You just want to behave like that? Maybe. Maybe it wants to behave like that. It could go anywhere. It can go there. And then it'll do that. And it'll get that. And just take the wick side of the top right there. It can go like that. Go any kind of way. I said Pony is my I sold Palantir. But I sold Palantir up, up high though. I sold Palantir up high because it was time to let her go. Um, if I can get Palantir back while I'm jumping all over the place, talking about stuff and everywhere, not gonna pull all of these out, but I just wanted to get enough of it out to see. Yeah, I think I'll leave it like that, and just lighten it out. Yeah, there we go. Let's go, Pony. Let's go, because I've managed to buy me some more. I bought some more on that part right there, but I didn't buy this dip right here for some reason. I don't know why I didn't catch that. Like I said, I must have been trying to buy something else at the time, and didn't pick it up. I think it's a sleeper. I think it's a sleeper. It's my thoughts on Pony. Uh, and you see, I put in here that it's high risk, so it is high risk. It's high risk. Still dancing around this trailer. Oh, I'm so sleepy. And I'm hungry too. Sleepy and hungry. Sleepy and hungry. His momentum just continues to rise. We're almost getting in there, trying to get this push up here into this golden pocket, possibly even the 786. But start right here. This was just the results of looking for SFPs at these places where it might. We had that first one right there, and then it seems that we just had this one right here. Um, I was doing that because what was happening? Because we had started diverging. That's why I had started looking at SFPs in here on Apple because it had started diverging. Um, I know I didn't look at it because I said they had their earnings coming up, right? Um, Welcome. Hold on. Did I say? No, ARM doesn't. It must be Qualcomm. Who is it? Huh? I don't know. I guess they got past it. Oh, this monster. This monster. Ooh. Sadness. NVIDIA. Sadness. Sadness. NVIDIA's free cash flow is just declining and declining and declining. I mean, NVIDIA is having a hard time right now with, the tariffs and um, losing losing the China market and all of that good stuff. Chinese market. Uh, I don't think anybody's ever going to do it like Nvidia, but keep in mind that there is Cerberus could help make a difference. Could be another opportunity. Chopping the chopping the top, chopping the top. That's oil was talking about oil this morning, saying that oil looks like it's trying to bottom out, but I love to see it get down here to this 87.59, which we did get the little wick drop down here into it. But we had already did that one base bounce right here. Um, so I was looking for this to get tapped and then see if we get another base bounce right here. It's got a little bit of bullish divergence right here on it. A little bit. And it's fair game as long as it maintains right here for this 87.59 right here. Won't get too far. I can see how much it stalled out there already, right? Just really stalling out right there. Really, really, really stalling out. We did that gap bounce right here, but this is not looking too, not right now. Not right now, because we had been holding all through here, putting in the bullish deals before we got to push up right here. And we tapped that gap. We're tapping the breakdown right now, which it did swipe at that time. I think that it will go ahead and break down below it. Possible little head and shoulders finna happen right here on SPY. But I think this gap was pretty much like uh an expected move for it on a move back down. From what I can see from the high time frame, but when I come back tomorrow, I'll let you know. I've been here long enough doing nothing, doing absolutely nothing. Came in for one intent and couldn't help myself but to stick around here and just run my mouth a little bit more. All right, I'm done.